Our hero, a hero, claims a warrior's heart. I tell you, the dragonborn come with a voice wielding power of the ancient Nordar. Believe, the dragonborn come. It's an end to the evil of all Skyrim's foes. Beware, the dragonborn come. For the darkness has passed and the legend yet grows.
Hello and welcome. Welcome to the Music Community Podcast. I'm Random Girl Singing.
I'm Dan Drumstone.
I'm Sienimiili.
I'm Doc Basil.
We are pretty stoked to have you on. Did you have a good stream?
Yeah, I did. It was a good morning stream. Morning for me is like 2 p.m. So
yes, because you're in Finland, right?
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, no, we're so happy to have you on. I'm sure with this huge enthusiastic crowd, most of you spamming the emotes know who this woman is. But in case you don't, this is Sienimiili. She is a full-time streamer and a singer-songwriter musician who got her start streaming, I believe, League of Legends. Was that your main?
Yes.
Okay. And you streamed in Finnish before, and then you came over.
Yes, I did. Yes.
Yeah. Well, we're so happy to have you on and to feature your music and to learn more about your journey into becoming a musician and just pick your brain a little bit. So thank you for making the time.
No problem. I'm so excited.
Yeah, we're going to go real deep.
Oh, God. Am I ready for that? Yeah, I am.
So
Let's do this.
Where did your musical adventure begin?
It began in second grade of school, elementary school, when you're actually third grade in Finland, where you take this test if you want to go to a math class or a music class or normal class. And so I went to music class, and then everybody gets to pick an instrument to play. And I ended up picking the clarinet because I thought that it sounded like a rainbow. That was how I remember describing it. And yeah, so I started playing the clarinets, and I was on the music class. We generally had more music than other classes, and played guitar and did chorus stuff.
Yeah.
So I had a very musical upbringing like that, I guess.
I wish we had that option to not take math. Did you eventually have to
Oh yeah, definitely. It's just
okay.
Oh no, definitely we still had a normal math classes, but if you went to the math class, you had more and you learned faster. You learned
I was going to say
math
I want to see the kids
than everybody.
that picked math over music.
There weren't. That was the two options. That those two things.
There's three, right?
They did no. It's two things that you could be put into or choose to go to, but you had to take tests if you could, and then you could choose if you wanted to go. And so the musical test was testing your sense of rhythm and pitch and stuff like that. If you'd be potentially a good musician
cool,
one day.
What if you were really good at both? Or is there the assumption there that if you're really good at one, you might not be as good at the other? Or
no, you get to do both tests and then you get to choose. But it was just it's not a common thing in every single school in Finland. Just some schools, and my city had that. So yeah, you got to.
That's really cool. You
got to choose, but obviously normal class was just as good. Just there was no orientation to it.
Yeah. And then that continued on junior high school. Where did
it continued on to junior high, but high school was not music class anymore. But we had music high schools where some people went to. The high school that I went to actually was a mix of high school and vocational studies, and the vocational studies were in music, and particularly classical clarinet. So I was kind of training to become a classical professional clarinet player. Like I played in symphony orchestras and everything with it. But
Now, have you
towards
played the clarinet on stream? Any?
Yeah.
I have once actually, but I'm a bit like, I don't know. It feels kind of far away to me now because it's something that like you have to like. I played it every single day, like hours and hours on end, and like once I decided that okay, this is not going to be my profession. Like towards the end of my studies, I started liking singing a lot more than the clarinet, and I took some like pop jazz singing lessons at the end of that school, and I started as a classical singer as well. Like I took some lessons in that at first, which really helped me with like how to use my voice. Like I really could not sing before that at all, and that was like 4 years ago. So yeah, I sounded like a frog. It was intense, but like I learned I learned how to use my voice through that, and after that I have kind of really been into it.
Yeah.
The clarinet is definitely still like it's like a very important instrument to me, and all classical music, like whenever I hear it, like brings me back to like the good old days. Like my teacher in the clarinet, she was absolutely like amazing, fantastic, and like shaped my childhood a lot because I did so much. I did classes and like played in trios and quartets and the orchestras and everything. So yeah, I've had a classical upbringing in music.
So
like I feel like this is all lost. Like at least to my knowledge of you, like, you know.
Yeah, I know. I don't talk about it a lot.
The music theory is not easy. And to play a classical instrument or to sing classically, you've got to have knowledge of music theory.
Yes,
you know?
I've done loads.
This really, I feel like, makes you stand apart, you know, your journey stand apart because, you know, there was this musical background that was sort of covered up. So there must have been, when did you lose touch with it? Why games? Why League? Was it just you really enjoyed that escape of gaming? Was that, you know, and how did you end up playing on Twitch?
When I first kind of lost touch with the clarinet was when the second last year of high school, I went to Japan as an exchange student, and obviously like I couldn't have classes there, and I couldn't be connected with the music community like that. So it really gave me like time to think if I like actually wanted that, and I realized that I didn't, because my teacher was really good and a great person, and she motivated me. Nice. Like the motivation that I had was not internal in that way when it came to playing the clarinet. So when I went away for a year, I kind of lost touch with it, and I realized, oh crap, this probably isn't it for me. But I did still want to finish my studies with it. Mm-hmm. But like I went more for singing at the end of it, and did some other music studies there while I still could. But yeah, the clarinet is really important to me. I really do still love the sound of it. Whenever I hear it in anything, basically, it's just like,
yeah,
the clarinet.
It immediately makes me think of Squidward for some reason.
Yeah,
that's true. Huh?
Which is not a bad thing. It's still a happy thing. But.
Yeah, it's kind of weird because we didn't have like the clarinet is kind of like an instrument for like people like Squidward. Like it seems, at least in like America and abroad, but in Finland we really don't have those kind of stereotypes about any kind of like instruments.
Yeah. Or
like people who do orchestra or like whatever. It's kind of like looked up toward even. Mm-hmm. Like classical upbringing is like a good like thing, and like, oh wow, like she plays an instrument. Wow.
Yeah. Do your feet make that sound when you walk though? Like that, like Squidward? That would be.
I don't know.
I'll pick it on you.
So when did Twitch enter the equation for you? How far back?
Well, it was after my studies ended, if I remember correctly. I've also always done a lot of theater, by the way. Like my dad is an actor, so like I've been involved there a lot. Like theater and drama and acting is definitely another very important thing to me and something that
That's
I've
awesome.
always liked and wanted to do. And then after the music school ended, I applied to the Finland has one university for studying acting, and it is super hard to get into. Like 1% of the people
Only one?
who apply, yearly get in.
Wow.
So yeah, I applied a couple of times and like I didn't get in, but I moved to Helsinki to be a part of this like amateur group that's like run by professionals, so that I could get to keep doing it. I was doing it back in my hometown at the like theater with professionals, which was really, 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 really great. But yeah, when I came to Helsinki and after I'd like been involved at the theater here, on my free time, I still did a lot of gaming, and I did like keep coming. There was like this one Finnish streamer who streamed League of Legends, who I started watching for like fun sometimes, and I don't know. Then I thought that okay, I'll give this a try, and then I did, and I kind of liked it. It was like a nice way to spend time with people
Mm-hmm.
who did games, because I didn't really have that kind of people in my real life
Yeah.
or something.
Yeah, no, for sure. Same here. Like none of my friends. I've actually bought the video game that I like for like my best friend. I'm like, here, play with me. You're gonna love it. You're gonna have a good time. He's never like even installed it once. I'm like, come on, man, just try it. So I get that. Like finding people that have your interest in that sort of thing.
How was your experience gaming?
Streaming League of Legends.
Yeah.
On Twitch. Well, I've always played games. My sister played a lot of games, and that's kind of where I got it from my older sister. And yeah, I've always done gaming, so it wasn't like a new scene to me, but the Finnish internet side of League of Legends definitely was. Like it was sort of a toxic community, and it was like very difficult to me at first to understand why people acted like that.
Yeah.
Because I'd been involved with like art people and music people, like in real life, like very, very kind, creative, nice people. And then there's these people who are like very different.
Get wrecked.
On the internet, toxic and like stuff. Then it, like I'd always been like surrounded with people who are driven by some sort of passion, and like these new people that started coming into my life through the gaming and through Twitch, like didn't seem like they weren't. Like obviously some of them, yes, but it was I got to know like lots of different kind of people for sure, in good and bad.
When did you first discover music on Twitch?
I discovered music, I think, I actually don't remember how, but Ryan, Lieutenant Chicken, was the first music stream that I found and watched. I don't remember through which I found it. Was I just browsing or was somebody hosting? I have no idea. But yeah, him and then Ali also.
I should just start
Richie?
rephrasing this question. Like, who did you first see on Twitch, and why was it Lieutenant Chicken? And it's so cool though. But that's awesome. Sorry.
Yeah, no worries. Ali and Ryan were the first musicians that I saw and thought of on Twitch, and like that kind of gave me the idea that hey, like maybe I could do that. And then as sometimes after I played League of Legends, I started singing, playing the guitar and singing. Like not too many people seem to be super interested in it, obviously because they were there for the gaming content, but I liked doing it, and it was definitely great to like get to sing to people. I've loads of experience performing when it comes to the clarinet. Like I've performed with it a lot alone and together, but singing I'd never really like gotten to perform like that. So it was great.
Do you remember what the first song was that you sang on Twitch?
I do. It was actually one Finnish song that I sang.
Nice.
That's really cool.
Now, when did you fully see that Twitch had potential for you musically? Like that was something you could grow and work into like your life. When did that light bulb kind of come on for you?
Well, I never really had that. I just kind of kept doing it because I didn't have anything else to do, as weird as it sounds. Like, I was actually in a pretty like bad part in my life, to be honest. Because I didn't get into the school that I wanted to get into. I'd recently got some bad news when it came to my health and stuff like that. So I kind of used it as a way of like having something to do, and like it kind of gave me some meaning when it came to that. Like, I wasn't involved in any theater projects at that time either. I was like the year before that, but the next year I just didn't like sign up for anything.
Mm-hmm.
So I just kept singing on the internet.
Yeah.
And how is your health today?
It's good. It's all right. I was about roughly 1 year ago, a bit over 1 year ago, I was diagnosed with MS, in case somebody didn't know. And I kind of like knew it 1 year before that as well, because like it was a very, very scary few years of my life, being so unsure about something like that. I don't have sight in my left eye, or well, it's like super dark.
Yeah.
Like squinting your eye all the time, dark.
Yeah.
And I lived with that for a year, not knowing what it was, because they were taking like a very long time telling me.
Like the tests and all that stuff?
Yeah. Like the tests and like, Finland has free healthcare, but the thing about that also is that you have to wait.
Yeah, it's not super, super quick. Now, how long would you say you've been doing music on Twitch?
A year and a half, I'd say.
Yeah.
I was partnered like a couple of months after I started doing music. I switched to English from Finnish because I started getting so many English people into my chat because of the music. So it was only like, it only makes sense, and it was very natural to make the switch.
No, I didn't know who you were until this past TwitchCon. So thank you for making that long journey to TwitchCon last year. That's super, super far for you. But the first time that I heard you sing, like I met you at the con, but was at Trevor's house. You came in and you sang the Skyrim song, I think it was. And I was like,
yeah,
like, oh my gosh. Like it was so awesome. And I've been like, I think I host you like every morning, like, like you're like the top of my list for like hosting people. And I think you're always on like before I stream, so I'll like put it on. I'm like, yep, there she is. So like you blew me away at Trevor's house. Like that makes sense with like the classical training, because to be able to sing like that and the range, singers will have like one or two steps, like da 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 da, but you were going like high to low, like really quick with the ease and control, and your breathing was good. I'm a nerd about this stuff and I pay attention. I was like, man, she's like really good. She just came in and started singing like a professional. I was very impressed. So yeah, it was
thank you so much. That's so strange for me to hear.
Well, it's true though. It's one of the things that I notice about certain people on Twitch, and why I think we're so lucky to have people like you, because it's like, it is real talent. It's not just, oh, I can sing good and I sound kind of good, but there's actually control, and there's time that people have put into their craft to get to where you are now, and it shows. So yeah.
I think it's interesting too, and kind of cool, the dynamic that that you said, Miili, you said you have a lot of US viewers, when you started doing music, a lot of US viewers, because like when I look at my stats and stuff, it's mostly people in like Germany and Europe, and I don't have near as many people in the US, and I'm in the US, and so it's kind of cool and interesting to me how we draw people from other cultures, even though we're all sharing music, but who you are, your personality is very intriguing to folks who are not from Finland and from Europe.
Yeah,
so
definitely.
Really
cool. I think right now about like 20-25% of my viewers are from the US, so it's still a majority, but After that comes Finland and Germany for some reason. I have a lot of German viewers,
Yeah, same.
which is
here.
great.
Yeah,
It is great.
yeah.
Maybe
Steph,
Germans just use Twitch a lot. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I think Germany is the first or second in my list as well. Steph, you have a lot of European viewers as well, right?
And a lot of
Yeah.
Germany as well. And
Yeah.
so it's like, do Germans just like music, or is there just a lot of Germans on Twitch that are looking for music? Or
They're just very intelligent.
I
And they
don't
have
know.
good taste. You know?
Yeah, definitely. To all the German, you're very smart.
so you have been actively growing this community of, and music is a very personal thing to grow a community around. And, you know, they become invested in you as a singer, musician. You know, they help select your repertoire of what to sing. And, you know, you provide a lot of emotional support, I think, for your community as well. So what was it like when you announced to them that you were sick? What was the support like?
It was really, really wonderful. I wasn't like a very active part of the theater community here in Helsinki anymore at that time. And seeing a lot of the musicians on Twitch at that time just like come out and like it was I took like a week or so off after that. Like after I got the final information, like I'd obviously dealt with it for like almost a year already. But when I finally like streamed, like everybody just like hosted me and they were there and everybody just came together to support me when I had a very difficult time. So it was really, really, really touching, and I'm very grateful that I've like had people in my life at that time, and that there are people on the internet who care. As strange as it sounds, like some people don't think that it's real because it's on the internet, but like it is.
Mm-hmm.
It's 2018.
Yeah.
Like look at us talking right now. Like I would know none of you if I wasn't.
Yeah.
On
None
Twitch.
of it makes sense, but it all works. And that's what's really cool.
So
Yeah.
how was TwitchCon? Because as real as it is, the support and the relationships and the connections, there's also, for me anyway, there was that little bit of, okay, but now we're going to be breathing the same air, right? I'm literally going to be in a room with all these people that I've been looking at their faces two-dimensionally. How was that for you? How were you a little anxious on the front end? Were you like, I can't wait to meet all these people? Like, how was that?
No,
for you?
I was definitely very anxious before it. I was like freaking out. But like once the first day came, when we like went to pick up the passes and you actually saw and met people, I was like, everybody's real. Like I was so excited to like see everybody in person, because I could not, it took me such a long time to believe that they were real people.
Is that why you were touching
Like,
everyone on the face? Like, oh my gosh.
Yeah. Yeah,
Touched
like
me on
you're
the face. I remember
real.
that.
Just kidding.
Yeah, it was crazy. TwitchCon was definitely a great experience.
Yeah. And you stayed here for a while too after, right? Like you
Yeah,
did,
I
like, a
did.
road
I
trip?
did some traveling because I'd never been in the US before. So
Yeah. To come
Yeah, it
that
was
far,
great.
that's awesome. Yeah, like because how Finland is, how far would you say? I'm really bad at this, but from the United States, how far is Europe? How many miles? About like 3,000?
I remember somebody talking about like 7,500 kilometers one day,
Oh, okay.
because they talked about coming to Finland. I think it was 7,000.
I guess so, huh? I'm terrible, but that's a long way.
Yeah.
It is.
Since you've been doing Twitch for a while, what's next for you? Like, is there anything on the horizon you would like to do?
On Twitch or like in general?
Both.
Yeah, both.
Both.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I really do miss Japan, and I've been thinking about like going there for like 2-3 months again to live there, create music, do some like IRL streaming, show people, my friends there, and
That'd be really cool.
and stuff like I've been thinking about Japan a lot for sure, and I do want to like write more original music, but like I'm also like very like committed to the stream and my community, and I do stream quite a lot. I also stream games as well.
Yeah.
So it's a full-time job really, and I find it kind of difficult sometimes to find the like time and the creative mind space that I'd need
For
to
sure.
to actually like get down to it. Like for me, it's really difficult to sit down and be like, okay, I'm gonna write a song now. Like it doesn't work like that.
Yeah.
For some reason, I can't do that.
Yeah.
I need to be in the right mindset.
It's not a switch that you could just go, okay, I got an hour. Boop. Let's go. Like,
Yeah, I have an hour now. I can write a song for an hour, and then hour the next day. Yeah, I'm kind of very like spontaneous like that,
yeah.
I guess.
Well, what kind of writing do you like to do? How would you categorize it, like in general?
I don't know. Lots about personal and other people's like experiences, but I like to kind of like beat around the bush a little and not just like say everything like straightforwardly.
Yeah.
I guess you could kind of call it a bit abstract even. I don't know. But like, yeah, not very many people are probably like familiar with my style and the way that I write, because I haven't put much of it out there yet. The latest song that I wrote was actually about a game I played. Hell played Senua's Sacrifice on stream, which is like a game about mental health and like about the character has like schizophrenia and like she's hearing voices, and like it was a very, very intense experience for me.
I heard that game was amazing. I heard
it's really good. Definitely recommend it.
Yeah.
If you're interested at all. But yeah, I wrote a song about that. I wrote it in Finnish and I made it kind of like folkish style, because the game is set in like, I don't know, like I think it's Iceland a long time ago.
Nice.
Type of deal, northern vibes. So yeah, I made a song about that, and I'm kind of proud of that song, but I still have yet to like record it. And I told my stream, I've sung it on stream before, but I told them don't let me sing it again before I record it. And I've broken that promise like twice already, so.
What's the
now they're
reasoning?
Recorded, you'll have to send it to Dan so we can show it or play it before the podcast or something.
Oh, definitely.
Why is that? Why are you protecting it?
I don't know. I say it's like time and everything, but I guess it's also a little bit of like not fully believing in it.
Mm-hmm.
I never really went into doing music on Twitch, and even if I had that classical upbringing and like everything, I still, because I don't talk about it a lot, I don't really have that like identity as a musician, I guess. Like it's just something that I've always kind of done. Like I never developed and like identity out of it, I guess.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying.
And music on Twitch as well, I always just like think that it's just something that I just kept on doing. Like it's something that just happened to me and not something that I made happen myself or did myself, kind of, you know.
No,
I don't know. I don't take a lot of pride in a lot of things, I suppose. So yeah, it's difficult for me to like.
You're humble about it, and I respect that. And it is interesting because I did see you tweet the other I think it was a few weeks ago, and you tweeted a video of you singing, and you said, I don't really put my music out here. And it's true. And I thought about it, and she does this all day. You know, she will sit and she'll play for hours on end. I mean, this woman is putting on live shows constantly. And like Dan said, you're good.
Yeah.
You know, you're good. But you know, at the same time, it's emboldening that you're able to have this career that's successful as a broadcaster. You know, but it's interesting because how do you fuse that, and how do you market that if you want to, you know, and do you want to, you know, do you feel like it's important for people who don't know you already to come see Sienimiili the musician? Does that set up expectations, you know, or is it just, do you like me first and now you love my music too? But whichever it is, you're clearly doing very well and you're still inspiring people, you know.
Yeah.
And so I have to give you credit there if you haven't noticed that about yourself. I just wanted to notice it about you.
Every time Steph talks to me about like anything like this or anything, it's always just like so close to making me cry. Like you said something on your stream the other day about me, and I was just like, I was having a pretty bad day, like not believing in myself, and like everything I do sucks. And then I went onto Steph's stream and she spoke to me, and I was like, I literally cried.
I know. I told you you were a musician.
Yeah, she told me I was a musician, and that made me cry.
Welcome to the Dr. Phil show on the music.
Yeah.
I mean, but you've earned it. The thing is, you've earned it.
Oh yeah.
But it is interesting because when you have to present and market yourself, I'm kind of going through it right now, trying to make those steps about the album. When you have to present and market yourself, it's like there's this air of celebrity about, I feel like, musicians, where it's like there's this distance, and once you get to this certain level of prestige, then you can be normal again because people want, you know what I mean? But I feel like there's this distance with the way people market themselves, and we're not marketing ourselves. We're making connections.
Yeah, definitely.
So it's, I don't know, it is interesting.
Yeah, it is. That is something I definitely have thought about and like feel myself as well, like how, because there's no distance when it's Twitch, in good and bad.
Yeah.
There's like the people are there and they're gonna say whatever they say.
Yeah, there's no
like,
fix it
there's
in
no
post.
shield.
Yeah,
you can't like everything. You have to like be able to take it, and you have to like be yourself through it all, and like stay true to yourself, and not like
well,
and don't listen to the bad stuff.
Yeah. Well, one of the for me, this is just me, is I watch a lot of people on Twitch do music, and I'm in no place to say, certain things or not certain things. But pretty much, and I've said this before on here, anyone who streams, I immediately have a lot of respect, especially if they're streaming music. Like that, to have the gumption and the guts to go and do that, is huge. But there's just so many good people on Twitch, and Sandy, you're one of them. It's like, I from a distance, I'm like, they're amazing, they're so good, da 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 da. And if people second guess themselves sometimes, like I want to be that person, and I do it with like old students and stuff. Like they're like, I can't, audition for this. I'm never gonna get it. And I'm like, you go do that. You're gonna get it. And you know what I mean? Like. At first, we all have that, like, am I good enough? Like, what's going to happen? But at the end of the day, it's like you are, if you're already in a position where you're in front of people and you're doing it constantly, you're 1,000 steps ahead of the person who maybe sings a lot, but doesn't perform or just does it in their room. It's such a, I don't know. I'm always impressed with people on Twitch and the professionalism and all that stuff. So
definitely, like something I've come to a conclusion about life, and it's like it's definitely not about like who can do it. It's about who does it.
Yeah.
Like it's not about how good you are. You just like have to do it.
Yeah.
I love that. That needs to be the quote that goes out when we tweet this podcast.
Yeah.
It's not about who can do something. It's about who is doing the something. Do it. That's good. I like that.
I mean, the people that succeed with streaming are the people that say, how do I do this? And know like just before the podcast, I don't know if anybody heard it, but Millie was like, oh, she's doing her audio recording. And she said, I don't really know, I don't really know my audio. I don't know how I made it this far. And I was like, because you're smart. And when you need to learn how to do something, you go look up how to do it.
Yeah.
And then, or you ask people who can help you how to do it, and then you do it. And that's like, I think it's like 50% of streaming. You know what I mean? Is like, yes.
You have to be a professional in like all fields. You have to know your lighting. You have to know everything about like audio and like cameras, picture. And you have to be entertaining to be able to deal with people. It's so much.
You learn a lot of valuable skill sets, and
you
really
definitely do.
Not everybody has somebody to do that for them.
Yeah.
Like you can't just like have somebody do that for you.
Yeah,
like, your journey.
Yeah, I had never like used an audio interface or anything before. Like the first time that I set it up, I was like, what did I just do? Where does it work? Why and how does it work? I still don't understand, but it does. I'm happy about that.
All right. So one of the questions that we ask a lot of music streamers is, are there any songs or what's the top song that you like? I would be okay if I never sang that song again. Have you got any that you've like blacklisted? Like, no, I'm not singing Mad World again.
Well, I have my community here, so I'm not sure if I want to answer that.
They're all like,
Because there are a few.
Yes.
But I know people like them, so I keep singing that. Like, I don't mind. It's okay.
I know sometimes I wonder if I feel I should someone requested something the other day and I was like, okay. And I'm like, maybe I shouldn't do that.
I know that
I shouldn't
feeling.
do that, like I got Steph. That's when you need to have a poker face.
Yeah.
Like, I will get to it later.
And that's what these are for.
Oh my God.
It hides at least a third of my giant face so I can roll my eyes while I'm singing Mad World one more time.
Yeah. There's days when I have no filter on Twitch, but most days I do try. But some days I've just like had it about with everyone and they're gonna know about it.
I feel like that's a good strategy on Twitch. I don't think they want you to.
Yeah.
People are like, they see right through it if you're ingenuine.
yeah, that's so true.
So I think they'd rather see funny, salty Millie just owning it. You know what I mean? I think that people love that.
Yeah. Definitely.
So what would be one of the things that you would say that you struggled with in the beginning? It could be technical or just figuring out your stream, all that stuff. What was like an early challenge that you overcame when you first started?
Music or streaming in general?
Let's say music.
Music. I would say definitely probably the audio. Like I had nobody to help me with it. I'd never like edited or like, well, I had actually, but like it was the first time I like recorded something myself. It was like I had this microphone that came with like a Skype thing. It was like a Skype microphone with like one earbud and then the microphone, and then like I tied a sock onto the microphone as like a pop filter.
So you're an engineer.
And like, that was where I started, but that was
Perfect.
practically the level I was at when I like started looking at
People
microphones.
tune in. There's like a droopy sock on a microphone. Like,
And
what
how is that not an
happening?
emote? Is that an emote in your channel?
It's
That's
not.
classic. Is there a clip? Is there a vid? I would love to see that.
Sock mic.
No, I was very young. I was very young back then. I have like recorded stuff since I was a kid because I've always been on the internet a lot, definitely. So yeah.
What's your favorite game overall? Like all-time favorite video game?
All-time favorite? Oh
All-time
God,
favorite.
that's difficult. If I could pick like a series, I would probably say The Legend of Zelda. I really liked Breath of the Wild.
Nice.
Last year and this year, Hellblade was definitely a top game for me. I don't know, it's kind of difficult to say. Also, Final Fantasy X I was just the right age when I played it. It was perfect for me. Like nowadays,
that
people
game.
play it, I think it's cringy, but like it was perfect for me. I was a teenager. I loved it.
It was amazing. That game blew my mind when I played it. I was like,
Yeah, definitely. And Skyrim is always fun,
Yeah.
obviously.
that is very cool.
Yeah, also Luigi's Mansion. I do like my spooky stuff.
Now, are you gonna go to TwitchCon this year? Do you have plans to go this year? I know you went last year, and I know it's a lot.
It kind of depends. If I'm going to be in Japan, I probably won't fly over from there. I'm going to be committed to being there.
Very true.
Yeah, we'll have to see. I do think I might go there. So
Yeah, I was talking before you hopped in here. When the first time I met you at TwitchCon, the Tiltify stage, and then there was those stairs that went up, and we were all kind of congregated, like the Eaglesons, and everyone was just kind of talking. and I backed up, and you were behind me, and I like, what did I hit? And I turned around, I'm like, oh,
Yeah,
and it was
I'm
really nice
short.
to meet you there. But it was really cool. So I was just curious if you were going to come this year, because it would be awesome to see you again.
Yeah, definitely. I would love to see everybody again.
Do you have any favorite moments from TwitchCon, or like things that really stood out? That
I don't know. That's kind of difficult. Like in as a whole, well, I guess I would have to say when I went to pick up the badges and I first started seeing people,
Yeah.
that was mind blowing.
it is really cool to be with people that you see daily, like on a screen, and then they're in front of you, and you're like, oh man, they're way taller than I thought, or shorter, or just, wow, they're really ugly. Just kidding.
Wow.
I'm kidding.
Roasted.
I'm kidding.
Oh my goodness.
But you know what I
Wow,
mean?
he smells funny.
Yeah, no, but
Yeah.
it is a really cool feeling that, I don't know, it is exciting. It's cool. Silence. Now, can we open it up to questions from chat? Would you mind taking some
No, I don't
from
mind.
your community? Because I do want to compliment your community too. Since I started watching you after TwitchCon, one thing I noticed about you is the people that come into your stream. There are streamers that say, oh, my community's great. I have a lot of people that follow me, and it's really awesome. Your community, though, is like, I get that feeling like that is, you actually do have a community. Where people say this a lot, and it's like, that whatever, if you did something anywhere, they'd be there with you. And that's what I get from the people that watch you and follow you. Like, they're, I don't know. It's very awesome. So I just wanted to give props to your community really quick.
Yeah, shout out. Thank you guys. See, you're amazing.
No, you do notice it. You go into other people's chats, and you might see certain names pop up if you're hanging there a lot. But in your stream, like, the same people every time I'm in there, and it's not just like 10, it's like 100. That they love you to death, and it shows. Like, whenever you raid me, it's like all the emotes, and it's, you get that sense of pride that they feel like they're a part of something really cool, and that's.
Yeah.
Oh, you're too kind, Dan.
No, it's. I notice stuff like that, or I don't know. I think it's really awesome.
We do have some questions coming from chat. Twagan Homer wanted to know, have you thought about learning different instruments besides the ones you currently know? Like, you play guitar, clarinet. Do you play keyboard or anything like that on stream?
Yeah, I do play the piano, because like with the classical training, you learn like Bach's chord progressions and everything, and you have to like play them yourself. So yeah, we did that. We did that on the piano. I do play it. I don't know. I am kind of definitely like interested. Like, I did play the cello for like a very, very, very short while.
Really?
Back in that school, yeah.
Nice.
That could be fun again. I don't know. Anything is possible. Like any skills in life you want to pick up, just do it.
Can I get you a drum set?
Oh my god. Yes.
That's awesome.
That would be fun.
Someone asked, Tobias asked, what is your advice for new streamers trying to support a family with Twitch as a career? Now, Sandy, this could be for anybody. And this is a big question. What do you guys think? Any advice?
I think I'd have to say, don't go into streaming thinking it's going to be a career. I don't think that's ever a good idea, to be honest. Twitch is there. There's lots of people coming into streaming right now, and like, do it if you enjoy it.
Yeah.
That would probably be my advice.
Yeah. Because you said that keyword there, family. And if it's just you can get by with eating, salt packets and water and, I don't know, a loaf of bread for a month, right? But a family is a whole nother story that, you got to take into consideration. So start off as a hobby, and
Yeah, definitely.
take it serious. But
not
you
not
need
saying
to
that
have,
it can't grow into something, but like definitely have to be aware that it might not.
yeah,
Yeah,
don't make
'cause
it your main
even
thing.
especially if you're just getting started, the streamers that you look at and say, oh, they've got these huge channels, they're a partner, that they do this full time because you happen to see that they stream 3 or 4 times a week. That doesn't necessarily mean they're making enough full-time income to support a family. I'm not. I'll just be right honest with you. Twitch has been very generous to me, and I've been able to supplement my income through Twitch, which has been very nice. But if I just tried to quit everything and said I'm just going to be full-time Twitch dude, my wife would kick my butt to the curb.
Yeah.
Because it's not there yet. Even though I feel like I've been very fortunate in the last year. And there are other streamers that are a year or two further along that may have more income than that, and that are doing pretty decent. So I agree with Mealy. It's not that it can't happen, but man, I don't know if I would come in thinking this is just going to be my full-time career. You got to be able to enjoy it and not feel the pressure and the stress, because as soon as you get stressed over, I didn't make enough money today, I didn't have enough people today, then you're not going to enjoy it as much. And when you don't enjoy it, people don't enjoy being around you, and you get in a negative cycle. So that's $2.
It does show if you're not like enjoying yourself. But even in those times, it's important to be like honest about it. Like it's okay to have bad days, obviously.
Yeah, for sure.
What matters is like the long run and like the bigger picture. Not every stream can be like super perfect and like everything you ever wanted of streaming. But then some streams will be, and it's like that.
I mean, and
What
it
do you
does
think,
continue
Steph?
to grow. You know what I mean? It does continue to grow. So when I started, I felt like one day I had the potential. You know what I mean? But I didn't right away. I was freelancing and doing some things already. I had left my career. Well, my career at the time, I was a commuting person, and doing the 9-to-5 thing. But really, when all was said and done, when we looked at our income as a family and how much it cost me to live that kind of lifestyle, it was more worth it with the cost of daycare and dry cleaning and lunches out and commuting and all that kind of stuff that came into the eating out, because now I don't have time to like properly meal prep or whatever. For me personally, like it was a trade-off of how simply like we could live. And it made more sense for me to just supplement my family's income. If it was literally just me, I'm not sure me raising, but because I have a family income, we have to take that into account. So, sometimes those perceptions, just because somebody's partnered or gets good numbers, that doesn't mean that is a sustainable thing right away, And personally for me, I am willing to take on other things, and I do look into taking on other things. And you do have to stay flexible. Stay flexible is it. And if you do own your own business, like I know Doc and Dan and we all own our own businesses and basically take on clients, and when you think about it, that's not, maybe you can take on more streaming and let go of some of those other things. But you do have to be flexible when you do that, I think.
You have to be smart about it. You can't just assume that how a few months went, that's how the rest of your life is going to go. You might have a great month,
definitely, and
you might have the next month the same amount of viewers, and maybe no donations or subscribers. There is no consistency, and
is this like a freelancer lifestyle? Definitely,
and going into it, you have to know that, and it is nice to think about like, oh, well, this went good, so now it's always going to go good. And it might, I don't know. Sometimes it might. But I've been doing independent music since 2005. And basically every month is how am I going to make money? Where I have friends that get a salary and they know every year I'm going to have this, and they can plan out. And I've always lived kind of month to month. Sometimes I'll have a great month. I'll have certain sessions or, when I was first starting out, I'd have all these students, and I'm like, great. Then the next month, summer vacation hits, and they all go to, grandma's house, and I have no students for 3 months, and no one's recording in the summer. Everyone's touring and stuff. So I'm like, crap. How am I going to make money now? So I've kind of adapted that over the years to have my hands in multiple different projects as a musician and not just rely on one or like one band, because that, you can't do that. And when I got married and started having kids, then I really started taking it serious. These people are going to rely on you for monthly income, insurance, and that stuff. Like, there's nobody that's going to say, oh, well, let's figure out, your insurance now with Twitch. Like, you have to deal with all that stuff, and with kids and stuff, it's on your plate to factor all that in.
Yeah.
So.
I think goal setting helps too.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I was just reading Patreon, Nate Maingard. He is he's pretty high, he does really well on Patreon, and he was featured in their newsletter. And he was talking about how, the thing that he is working toward is he wants to have 1,000 true fans that are willing to pledge $50 per month. And that would give him a $50,000 per year salary. He said it's not there yet, but that's something he's working toward. And he's always adjusting and making connections and doing what he needs to do to go towards that goal. Yeah. And being realistic, like for me, I'm seeing that I'm a mother. It's just not realistic for me to try to do that music industry life, album cycle touring kind of life. Twitch is my cornerstone platform at the moment, but yes, I would like to leverage the things that I work on to be able to do music and have things placed, like, licensing stuff that's going to maybe provide me income for the rest of my life. Yeah. Also breaking into things like, voice acting and things like that. And it's all just networking. And, they say luck is when preparedness meets opportunity. So in the meantime, I just try to stay prepared and be willing to make those phone calls and be willing to, have something to hand to somebody to say, hey, this is who I am. Mm-hmm. And this is what I can do. And that's really what I'm working on right now. I'm not there yet. Yeah. But having those goals and at least that gives me something I could be working on, Mm-hmm.
And this is just to put it into perspective, just one last thing. I was listening to an interview with Dr. Lupo, and they said, well, when was the moment that you decided to go full time? Because, he's got a kid and a wife, and he said when he hit around 3,000 subs, that's when he felt he could make enough to sustain his family for a couple years in advance. He wasn't thinking, okay, I can go full time and we can do this month to month. He's planning it out. Like, I can make some to invest, so we're okay if I take time away from this career. So just put that into perspective. He went full time with 3,000 subs. Because it's so inconsistent, but there was this threshold that he could hit. So, I mean, if people are thinking, I have, 200 subs full time, let's go, that can all go away in a month. Quickly. And then you're down to like nothing, so yeah, be very smart about it, especially if you have a family and people relying on you. That's no joke.
You can't out the math.
You can't live, you can't live. Some people refer to it in the US as tax return rich, right? You can't get tax return rich and live that way. If you have a good week, a good month, whatever, where you get a lot of big donations or a lot of subs, especially if it's because of sub gifting or something like that. And you go, man, I brought in, let's just make up a figure. I made $5,000 this month on Twitch. Holy cow. You can't go spend all that money and live like you make $5,000 a month. Yeah. You got to live like what your basic needs are, and you got to spread that out and say, you know what, next month may be way lower than $5,000. I need to set some of this money aside, kind of spread it out, and still live a reasonable life. If you act like you just got your tax return and you go buy everything that you want and you buy all this stuff for your stream, and then the next month, the sub gifts go away, and the big donor that came through and dropped $3,000 on you, there's $3,000 of that $5,000 you got. You can't live like that's what's going to happen every single day. Yeah. So
for me, it was kind of like easy to switch into full time because like I've kind of always been poor. if you
Yeah.
could say that. Like, I've never had a career. Like, I was working like crap jobs, basic,
Yeah.
like almost like living on welfare. Like, I've never had a lot of money to spend ever. So like Twitch for me was like, wow, like
Yeah.
what the hell? Like anything that I've made like since the beginning has always been like a very big surprise, a very like
Yeah,
happy welcome one as well.
for sure.
And I'm like also I don't really spend a lot of money like on stuff, so almost everything that I make I put aside, so like all months feel like sort of okay, safe to me, whatever happens.
Yeah.
So like, and I also don't have a family. I have a dog and a boyfriend. Why did I say those in that order? I have like a boyfriend.
I love it.
Then we have a dog. With my boyfriend, we have a dog. Okay. So yeah, that's pretty much all that I have to like.
He won't be offended.
care of.
We're all used to that kind of stuff.
Dunby asked a great question earlier.
Yeah.
I just wanted to bring back real quick before we start trying to wind down in a few minutes. She asked, do you have any tips or any strategy on maintaining the balance between, this is always a great question and it's interesting to hear from different streamers, maintaining the balance between Twitch life and, real life family and stuff like that. What are your thoughts on that, Mealy?
It's something that I've definitely become better at lately, and something that I think about a lot. Because in the beginning I was like, I stream. I've always like streamed a lot, and I've always been very committed, and like taking time off for myself or like my music, for example, is kind of difficult. But also I've like started to see the value in it, and I've been able to take more time off of like even if I didn't stream, like I'd always be like on Discord or like doing something basically. But I've gotten better at like detaching from that. I'm actually next week I'm going on a 1-week holiday. Yay me. So yeah, it's definitely important because as many of great people as there are, and I love my community. They're like so much fun. I love hanging out in Discord with them. But like there's also the kind of people that just like kind of are there to like wear you out. And not obviously talking about not anybody like in my community, but like trolls and stuff.
Yeah.
Like you have to be able to like separate your real life from this, or else you're gonna be screwed.
Yeah.
because yeah, it's a lot to handle like emotionally as well, for sure.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's I can say with like good confidence that is something that all streamers struggle with, because as a streamer, like in gaming streaming, like it is expected that you like give your life to it. Like you have to be live 10 hours a day, or else your fans are gonna be mad.
Yeah.
So like yeah, you have to. It's a bit different with music streaming, obviously, but like I do gaming as well, so I do understand that mindset. But yeah. Good question, definitely.
Do not disturb on your phone is my favorite button. Whenever I swipe up, just hit that little moon on the iPhone.
Yeah.
And just make sure certain people can get through, like my parents and my wife, I think, are on my. But everything else, people know not to text me, my real friends, like in real life. Like, I'm not texting you. You're not going to answer back. I'm like, yeah, it's true. Yeah, sorry. 'Cause, like most of the stuff that you break away from your real life for, when you really think about it, it's not that important. It can wait, and that's where I think most people need to go. Do I need to respond to this tweet right now or whatever? It's like, no, it's going to be there in a few hours.
I've recently had like, well, I don't want to say problem, but at the same time, like I get my like email notifications on my phone, and there's people And like these are people that I don't even like when they tell me their Twitch name, I don't even recognize it. Like I don't think I've ever talked, like I think I've been able to make good genuine relationships like through my chat and with my viewers, and like there's people that I would definitely consider and call friends for sure. But then there's also people who I don't know that well, but who think that I do, or like people who think they know me well, and they like want that extra bit of attention, like through emails or like whether it, and like, I've had like this email thing going on, which has been quite a pain, to be honest, because like I get the notifications and I like keep seeing it every day. Well, not every day, but there's also that side too.
It's stressful.
It is stressful. And like I've heard some people say to me that I'm a very like alluring person. Like people want to like talk and like be friends with me. But the thing is, even though like I'm on stream and I'm like friendly to everybody, I might not want to be friends with like everybody. That's a harsh truth, but like it is. And like respecting a streamer's privacy is very important.
I'm sorry, I'll stop emailing you, Mealy.
It's okay. I'm good that I got to brought it up now before it went too far. It really bothers me.
No, it's
because
true,
like some people, I don't know, like when you have compassion for other people too, it like personally, I hate, getting messages and the thought of people not feeling heard. You know what I mean? And so, so I really, it leaves me in a bad funk when I know that people try to reach out, and but lately I've had to learn. because of that. I've had to learn to put up some boundaries, because I used to respond to like
definitely. Same for me. I used to respond to everything that I got, but I just, as time goes by and there's more and more people who want my attention, it gets overwhelming. Like I can't do it anymore. I've realized it was like really wearing me out trying to like talk to every single person and like be real with and understand like I do that when I'm on stream. Like that's kind of the time, or when I like feel like going on Discord and talking to people, but like I can't be available 24/7 to every single person who watches me. I just can't anymore. Like that's something that I've realized about that as well.
What do you mean you're not?
So
you're not a superhero?
Grown,
you're not a superhero?
Yeah, I'm not, unfortunately.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Do not disturb is my saving grace, because I admittedly will hop on stream and people say, "Oh, I sent you a message. I'm like, I will check it, but I'm not the person that is like looking and waiting for stuff. Like I've learned that most of the stuff I can wait on. It's
a big lesson. And when I try to do both at the same time, I just don't do either one well.
Yeah.
If I'm trying to be a mother and I still have streaming in the back of my head and I'm responding on Discord or looking at stuff, I'm not giving my full attention to speaking to my kids and looking at what they're looking at and doing what they're doing. You know what I mean? And that's what parenting is me being in the moment, responsive to my kids. I can't do that if I'm looking at my phone.
Yeah. You want to win at life? If you want to win at life, wherever you are, be all the way there.
It's hard. It's really hard. And I'm not perfect. Obviously I look at my phone sometimes, but it's like, it's a big goal of mine. That's why we go outside so much, and I leave the phone in the house and we go outside and I just stay outside away from it, because I have been guilty of being the mom that's on the phone while my kids are doing whatever they're doing. And not that anybody should feel guilty. You just try to be better and move forward. And when my husband is really good, my family's really good. And, honestly, my Twitch pays for preschool. So that's my time. My Twitch check pays for my, and that's all it used to cover was preschool. And it was an investment I could make in my kids, and it freed me up to be emotionally available to be creative, because I'm not worried about my kids. I know I'm giving them the gift that they get to go to school, you know?
That's a great
And-
perspective.
And
Steph.
slowly I've been able to make a little bit more, you know what I mean? But it's still, it's really nice because then I can be there for my channel or I can be there for my children, but it's still a struggle, that balance. You have to there's this book I want to read. I forget what it's called. I'll find it and I'll tell you guys, but it is about that social media and compartmentalizing that time, scheduling time and sticking to that schedule of I'm going to be on Discord tonight at 9 to 10.
Yeah.
That's when I'm free to respond to messages. And in between, I'm not
definitely.
I'm not letting myself get distracted.
I'm somewhat bad with that. So there's I've just stopped responding to some things at all because I find it hard to get the time and really be involved with it. The stream is so much work, and being there for people on the stream is so much work that I can't do what I used to do anymore. And I noticed with certain people, once you open some kind of gate, it just never ends.
Yeah.
It never ends.
You
And
can't be
I
nice.
just can't deal with it. I really can't. Yeah.
There's I have, friends when we talk about Twitch, on the outside. I said, there's some people that, do you know when you meet somebody in a store that you don't know? Let's say you're shopping for hammers, whatever. Let's say you're at a hardware store. And there's always that person where you're like, hey, how's it going? Well, let me tell. And then you're just there for an hour and you know everything about them and their health history and what they eat and all the bad things, what family members they're arguing with. And you know all of this. And you just said, hey, how's it going? And you just, you gotta, it comes with the territory and you gotta deal with it. But also one of the things that I think, yes, it is good to be there for your family and your significant others and stuff, but it's also for you. If you're constantly in this mindset of I need to deal with messages that come in or responding, or you feel this weight on your shoulders, you got to let that go because it does affect you and it will affect, how you approach the next stream or the next time you broadcast. You have all this stuff on your shoulders that you hit start and you're like, oh my gosh, you're already tired. So it's it's
you
for
should be
yourself
excited
too.
You should be excited to be there for your viewers and your community when the time comes.
Yeah.
And not 24/7. It's
Yeah.
just impossible.
Yeah, for sure.
Some good advice that you've given folks today. A lot of really good insights.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm glad. I'm sure I'm not the only one dealing with this stuff. I've talked to a lot of other some gaming streamers as well, and that was a very good question, as it is hard to find that balance, but it just takes its time, and once you've done it for long enough, you kind of get start realizing what you can and what you can't do, and what you can give of yourself to other people and what you just can't.
That's very true.
You have to
You figured that out very young. So I'm excited to see where Millie's going to be 5 years from now.
President.
10 years.
I'm calling it.
I'm
President.
excited to see where you are in 5 years.
Oh, I'll be here.
Well, I'll be president of something.
I'll be president.
Oh,
I'm president
Well,
of my own company already. So
There you go.
yeah, we're all presidents.
Oh man, I have a student, or I did. She is amazing, and I've told her for the past 3 years. I'm like, you need to become president, and she was 10. I'm like, you're going to be president someday. She's like, huh? She's just brilliant and the smartest kid and amazing. So I'm like, you're going to be president, and then you can have a term being president. I've already told all.
No
my
wonder
students.
everybody wants you to teach their kids. You're such an encouraging person. You're always bringing out the best in people, Dan. Jeez.
Uncle Dan.
But yeah, Sienni, thank you for taking the time out of your schedule. And I know you moved your stream up to be here today and all that. So thank you for adjusting, because it was a real treat.
No problem whatsoever. It was really great to be here and very refreshing for me as well to get to talk to you guys. So yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah. And I'm going to...
Where else can we find you on
There.
social media? Be sure to share that.
Oh yeah. Should I type it.
Well,
in
if you can
chat or
say it,
something.
because we'll have people listen to the podcast in their
Oh,
cars and
right.
stuff like that.
Oh, right.
The
There's no
audio
chat there.
listeners.
Yeah. Well, on all social medias, Twitch, Instagram, Twitter, I am there as Sienimiili with Miili. And it's actually Mealy, not Millie. Everybody always goes for Millie because that's an American name. But yeah, it's more like Mealy
Mealy.
with two I's before the L. And Sieni actually means mushroom in Finnish, if
Yeah.
somebody was wondering. And Mealy is my name. So yeah, that's where my handle comes from.
Mushroom mealy. Got it.
Yeah.
I dig
Mushroom
it.
Mealy.
And it'll be in the description too. I'll put where people can find like your Twitch and all that.
Yay, great.
But yeah, thank you so much for being here. It was a treat for sure.
Thank
You
you for
wanna-
having me. It was a treat for me too.
And who are you? The proud Lord said that I must bow so low. Only a cat of a different coat. That's all the truth I know. In a coat of gold or coat of red, a lion still has claws. And mine are long and sharp, my lord, as long and sharp as yours. And so he spoke, and so he spoke.